After I left crying, I told my sister what had happened. She frowned and scolded me, saying that my approach was wrong and had upset Gujiashu. She suggested I write him an apology letter. I didn't want to write one, so my sister went to mom and dad, saying that my behavior was inappropriate and had angered Gujiashu, and that the engagement with the Gu family might be off. Mom and dad panicked when they heard this and forced me to write an apology letter, which they handed to Gujiashu. In front of the whole class, Gujiashu read the letter aloud as if it were a joke, saying he didn't want to affect the relationship between the two families. Fu Ruxing, are you trying to use my grandfather to pressure me? Let me tell you, I'm not afraid of anything. Gujiashu went back that day to cancel the engagement, but was beaten by Grandpa Gu with his cane before he stopped. However, he hated me even more. When Mom and Dad heard this, they both sighed. If only Xiaoya could have gotten engaged to Gujiashu, they said. My sister said sensibly, Mom and Dad, I can't steal my sister's man. I don't know anything. He did nothing, but Gujiashu became addicted to him. Fu Ruxin's older sister was beautiful and had a strong personality. Gujiashu started chasing after Fu Ryue. The less Fu Ryue cared for him, the more curious he became. The more indifferent Fu Ryue was, the more he felt she was different. In short, Fu Ryue did nothing, yet easily won the fervent love of the Gu family's heir. Everyone said she was not only a born academic genius, but also a born goddess. After learning about the system, I finally understood my sister's intention. In my relationship with Gujiashu, the harder I tried, the more he would dislike me. The more indifferent and rejecting he was, the more Gujiashu would become obsessed with him. This way, my marriage with Gujiashu would fall through sooner or later, and he could marry into the Gu family in my place. Just like now, Fu Ryue still coldly looked at Gujiashu. I don't want to go to your birthday party. And don't look for me here. After saying that, he turned away. She walked away. In the past, this tactic always worked. Following the usual pattern, Gujiashu would be even more unable to resist. She would stop him, pleading and begging him to get in the car. He would then, with a straight face, half-heartedly sit in the passenger seat of the luxury car, basking in the envious gazes of all his classmates. To give Gujiashu time to stop her, Fu Ryue deliberately walked very slowly. Gujiashu did indeed speak up. Fine, don't go then. He scratched his head irritably, making it seem like I'm begging you. I get tired too. I saw Fu Ryue's steps suddenly stop. He couldn't help but turn around, looking at Gujiashu in disbelief. Just like how I don't immediately lose weight after a system malfunction, Gujiashu still liked Fu Ryue at this moment. Seeing her suddenly turn around, his expression changed from gloomy to sunny. You still want to go, right? You're just playing this push and pull game with me. Gujiashu opened the car door. Fine, you win. Get in. Gift, please. If Fu Ryue got into the car at this moment, then her relationship with Gujiashu could probably still continue to develop. But Fu Ryue only took Gujiashu's change in attitude as a result of the system still working. So she smiled coldly, with the arrogance of an ice queen, and said, Gujiashu, I know your family is powerful and influential, and all the women revolve around you. But I'm different from them. Don't think I'll like you so easily. After saying that, Fu Ryue turned and left, her face filled with an extremely confident smile. Normally, her aloof words would make Gujiashu feel even more that she was different. But actually, if Fu Ryue looked back at this moment, she would find that the expression on Gujiashu's face was not one of appreciation that you've caught my attention. On the contrary, his face darkened. Sitting in the passenger seat, Gujiashu grumbled unhappily to his follower. Who does he think he is? Unfortunately, Fu Ryue, who had already walked away, didn't hear Gujiashu's words. So he remained immersed in his beautiful dream, feeling that everything was going extremely smoothly. Even though the system's responses had recently become noticeably more perfunctory, he didn't care at all. He still didn't study, still ate junk food indiscriminately, and still watched me study hard late into the night, offering gentle encouragement while a mocking and malicious smile appeared in his eyes. He didn't notice that many things were quietly changing. Soon, the first major exam arrived. The moment the test paper was handed out, looking at the questions, I felt a burning sensation in my chest. I realized that all my past efforts hadn't been in vain. Those words I memorized late at night, those practice questions I did, they had all been stored within me all along. In my brain, due to the previous system's effects, the knowledge points were like being separated by thick walls. I couldn't connect them logically. But now, all those barriers have been broken down, and all the knowledge has become interconnected. I looked at the questions on the test paper. Each one was so familiar. In the past, during every day and night of practicing questions, I had actually encountered them countless times. Now they were just appearing before me in different forms, but they were already old friends. This is what is meant by accumulating knowledge and experience before unleashing it. I continued working on the questions one by one. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Fu Ryue sitting diagonally in front of me, also quickly filling in her answer sheet. Fu Ryue always completed the test papers much faster than others. I used to think it was because he was exceptionally smart, but later I learned it was because of the system. The luck bestowed upon him by the system meant that for multiple-choice questions, his random guesses were always correct. For problem-solving questions, he could get partial credit just by writing something. With the powerful support of the more lousy, the luckier system, even if he didn't know half the questions on the entire paper, he could still get extremely high scores. Clearly, Fu Ryue was still answering the questions in his usual way. Soon the bell rang and everyone stopped writing and collected their papers. After leaving the exam hall, everyone gathered in the corridor to compare answers. A group of people surrounded Fu Ryue. Genius. Genius. Question 8 was so difficult this time. Did you choose C or D? Fu Ryue said calmly. Those who chose C immediately cheered, while those who chose D groaned. Everyone trusted Fu Ryue's authority. As the invincible genius, his answers were probably correct. I stood there with my backpack. Why did you choose C? Fu Ryue asked quietly from the side. He glanced at me, probably not understanding why someone like me, a poor student who couldn't even solve simple problems, dared to ask about difficult ones. He said impatiently, "You wouldn't understand even if I told you." Fu Ryue's friend immediately chimed in. The calculation process is so complicated. How could Fu Ryue possibly understand it? Get the basic questions right first. You won't get any points on these difficult questions anyway. I pursed my lips and sneered inwardly. The correct answer was definitely D. Fu Ryue didn't know how to do it. He just guessed randomly, thinking he could still get it right, like before. Looking at Fu Ryue's aloof and confident expression, I felt amusement, but outwardly I only timidly took a step back. Oh, right. Someone studied me from behind. It was Su Xiaoran, our class monitor. Su Xiaoran was also an excellent student. She and Fu Ryue had even tied for first place. She calmly asked Fu Ryue in a questioning tone, "Ryue, I've calculated it 3 times and it's always D. Can you explain why you chose C?" The other students who had chosen D immediately perked up, still unwilling to give up, and said, "You're a genius. Explain it to us. Even if we chose wrong, at least we'll understand." Fu Ryue's face turned pale. She couldn't explain it at all. She just chose C when in doubt. After a moment of silence, Fu Ryue coldly said, "I'm tired. Wait until the answers are handed out, then you can look at the explanations yourselves or ask questions. I'm not obligated to answer your questions." With that, she turned and left. In the past, Fu Ryue had always been indifferent to her students' questions, but he was still very popular. But this time, Su Xiaoran frowned first. He just wanted to ask him a question. Even if he's a good student, there's no need to be so rude. Other classmates whispered in agreement. "Ranjia, you're a good student too, but you're not like him." They walked towards the cafeteria while discussing. I was going to eat by myself, but out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a faint bloodstain on Su Xiaoran's pants. Hesitating for a moment, I quickly went to Su Xiaoran's side and whispered a few words of advice.